Republican Senator John Kennedy with me now, live from the Hill. Senator Kennedy, a pleasure, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Brooke.
All right, so let's just, fast forward to February 15th. You heard the president. If there is no wall money, no dice, no deal, which means he would declare a national emergency. Do you think that declaration is inevitable, or is there still time to compromise?
A couple of points. There's still time. I listened to what Speaker Pelosi said. I don't completely understand what she said. She said no wall, but there can be infrastructure. I don't understand what she means.
What do you take that as meaning?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't even know what the politically correct term is today to refer to the wall, whether it's barrier, wall, infrastructure. All I know is here, and I think most Americans agree with me, legal immigration makes our country stronger. Illegal immigration is illegal, and one way to stop illegal immigration, not the only way, Brooke, but one way, is a border wall or a barrier or whatever you want to call it. It's working now in San Diego. The wall is working in El Paso. It's working in Yuma. It's working on the West Bank of Israel. It's working between Saudi Arabia. There's a wall between Saudi Arabia and Yemen, and I can give you a bunch of other examples. Now, Speaker Pelosi has one vote. Will every member of the House or every Democratic member of the House follow her? I don't know. But I know in the Senate, I'm waiting to see what the conferees come up with. If I think it advances securing our border, I'll consider voting for it. If it doesn't, I won't. And my position will not be determined by Speaker Pelosi or by, for that matter, by President Trump. Though I think President Trump is correct, as is just about every fair-minded person who has looked at border security. Most conclude that it is impossible to secure 1,900 miles of real estate without a barrier.
Yes, correct. I mean, listen, we've talked to border control folks, and they say, yes, barrier in some sections, but when you're really talking about drugs, it's really coming from ports of entry. We've seen the drug tunnels. I mean, these folks down there get creative. We can have an entire debate on the barrier, but I want to come back to your confusion, and I don't think you're alone on maybe what Speaker Pelosi was saying, but it sounded to me when you listened to the whole thing, maybe there was a little bit of wiggle room. Like when you read the Democratic plan on paper, it seems like they're offering up zero when it comes to border wall funding, but she may be open to something. I mean, if Nancy Pelosi were to be open for some funding for some sort of barrier, fencing, whatever word you choose, right, Senator Kennedy, well, why wouldn't that be good enough for this president?
Well, it might be. Look, Speaker Pelosi is an extraordinarily bright person. She knows that the walls we have right now are working. She knows you can't secure a 1,900-mile border without using barriers. I think she probably just doesn't want to use the word wall. That's okay. She can call it a wang-doodle for all I care. But the president's position has never been, and nor has mine been, and the president and I don't agree on everything, but we agree on this. We're not talking about a wall from one end to the other. Walls are placed strategically, along with what the speaker talked about, better technology at ports of entry, more border control agents, more detention beds, drones. I mean, it's a combination of the thing. But it does include a wall, and I know that's hard for the speaker to say. Maybe she should call it a wang-doodle.
We all know what she'd be talking about, whatever the word is she uses. I mean, my goodness, it's almost silly. But when you look when you look at the potential compromise, this bipartisan group of your colleagues have been working hard to avoid another shutdown. And when you look at the numbers, Senator Kennedy, this new poll shows that it was your party who were the ones who took the big hit over the first shutdown. Approval down 8 points in 1 month. I mean, in the end, President Trump didn't get any farther than where he started on December 22nd. My question to you is, was it worth it?
Well, see, I think that's part of the problem here, Brooke. I think so many folks on Capitol Hill have been looking at this through a political lens. I'm not naive. I understand politics is important. But the real issue here is, it's very simple. Can you secure assuming you believe in border security, and I take my colleagues, all of them at their word that they do. I doubt them sometimes, but I take their word. If you believe in border security, can you secure a 1,900-mile border without some kind of barrier?
But hang on. Sir. I mean, but the question was, I mean, from December 22 to just a couple days ago when he finally reopened the government, it was the same speech we basically heard from the beginning, and nothing really changed. He caved. Was it worth it, is my question. Yes or no?
Well, yes. It's not over yet. Now,
yes, it was worth it. Yes, it was worth it. That for 35 days, all these hundreds of thousands of Americans were not paid. We're rationing asthma medicine. It was worth it for what?
Well, let me finish, Brooke. We're not through it yet, number one. I happen to think border security is important. I think the reason we're having this debate is because there has been a 30-year bipartisan refusal, both by big government Republicans and Ritz-Carlton Democrats, to refuse to enforce America's immigration laws. Now, let me say it again. Legal immigration, it makes our country stronger. But illegal immigration is illegal. Duh. And one way to stop it is to secure the border. And you can't secure the border without a barrier or a wall or a wang-doodle or whatever we're calling it. And if Speaker Pelosi, and she knows that, Speaker Pelosi is an enormously talented person. She knows that. Politically, she doesn't want to use the word wall. I get it. That's okay. She can pick her word. But I think in order to secure the border and to solve this controversy, we're going to have a barrier. Do I want to shut down? No. And before your editors write the headline that say Kennedy says it was all worth it, I don't support shutdowns. I don't want to see another shutdown. But I also think it's time for us to have an honest discussion about our immigration system and about how we're going to secure the border and what we ought to do to solve this problem.
Sure. We'll be paying close attention to you all as you do that over the coming days and weeks. And I so appreciate your candor on all of this. I do have just time for one more, Senator Kennedy.
Sure.
And just very soon, the Senate will be voting on keeping troops in both Syria and Afghanistan. And this is a major break from the president's recently announced withdrawals of U.S. forces from both those countries. I know where you stand, at least on Syria. Is the president ignoring your warnings?
Well, what's in front of us this afternoon is Senator McConnell's amendment, which basically says, as I understand it, we shouldn't get out of Syria. I'm going to vote against his amendment. I'm not saying he's wrong. I just don't know if he's right. I don't know who's right or wrong. I do know this. I think the president is going to pull out of Syria. If he does, it's going to leave one of our biggest allies, the Syrian Kurds, exposed. I'm trying to offer an amendment now that would protect them. I'm getting a lot of pushback. I don't understand that. Everybody says, well, we ought to help our allies. And I said, well, who's our allies? They say, well, Israel, Jordan, some say Saudi Arabia. I say, what about the Kurds? We wouldn't have beaten back ISIS without the Kurds. And if we leave, they're sitting out there naked and alone. Look, I don't want to pick a fight with Turkey, but Turkey has made it very clear. Erdogan's made it very clear how he feels about the Kurds. And I don't want to see Erdogan be able to go in there and slaughter the people who joined with us, who believe in democracy and helped us beat back ISIS. I understand a foreign policy based on interests, but American foreign policy has to have a moral component. And you don't leave your friends behind. And I'm very upset that the Senate refuses to accept my amendment, or at least let me to debate it. They don't even want to face it. Like it's going to go away.
I feel your anger, Senator John Kennedy. Thank you so very much. Let's talk again. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Mark.